getting the first pick.
Get three, Pyro, get three with the
Blade Kid putting on a clinic. 14 down. Oh!
Experience tranquility.
Welcome back, Overwatch fans, to another amazing night here at the Tranquility Season 7 preseason. Tonight, we will ascend, nay, transcend, as we head into the Transcendence tier to find the Reckless Platlaws and Arctic Foxes preparing to enter the field of battle. Will the Platlaws peacekeepers keep the Foxes at bay, or will the Foxes' frigid tundra be too much for these cowpokes to handle? And there's only one way for us to find out. I'm Captain Jack, your play-by-play for the evening, joined by the amazing, talented Twitch team director Booth, on analyst. Sorry, camera this way, because I know things. And, of course, we love our supported worst cast coming in on the production role tonight. Booth, after watching last night's feature and seeing how much the community showed up last night, I've just been waiting with bated breath all day to see what's going to come out of the Transcendence tier tonight.
Oh, yeah, exactly. I was incredibly excited to get to sign up to cast again. I don't think I've got to do it since the Torb 1v1 hammers, and I'm not going to lie, Jack, a different kind of casting experience.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit different than we'll get tonight. It's mostly just me filling in dad jokes in between some weird camera angles from the top.
That's all I do, man.
That's a good point. By the way, didn't plan the shirt combos. I know somebody's going to ask at some point. We've just twice or three times now. We've been casting.
It's just serendipity. Every time we cast together, we just end up wearing these shirts. Like, for me, I literally, first shirt I pulled out of the dryer. That just happened to be the one.
Two Trank shirts. So that's my excuse.
See, there you go. You have much higher odds than I do.
I do. It's 50-50 if you're casting with me that I'm wearing one of these. But 50-50 odds is kind of where I'm looking at both of these teams tonight. I don't think we can get any closer in SR. I mean, it's hard to predict, especially in the preseason when there's newer players, newer teams, to really guess and pick who's going to be your victors tonight. But SR-wise, we're 4 SR difference between both these teams, Jack.
That's absolutely true. I think that's going to be the interesting part for us to figure out this evening. And we do want to go ahead and let you know that Platlaws are actually going to be playing a little bit different than usual. Their typical off-tank, Fiery, is actually out currently due to a wrist injury.
Arctic
so we're going to be seeing, Arctic Foxes. So Dr. Tepper is actually going to be filling in on off-tank. So even though there isn't much of an SR difference, it's going to be interesting to see if, the practice that they've had up to this preseason match is all going to be kind of for naught because of this wrist injury.
It is, and we're going to have to see how this affects opening on control. Of course, here in the quarterfinals, we have our first maps already laid out for us. We're going to be going to Nepal right off the bat, and I'm interested to see what kind of tank compositions we are going to be getting out of both of our teams here. Always my favorite as a tank player was Nepal. I love the little switch ups you could get here. I want to see some Wrecking Ball, especially opening up on a couple of the maps that are good for that. We're just waiting for our May play, Jack. You know we're going to see it. We can't avoid it. That's what we end up with here on Nepal. And maybe not here going to be on our first point. I am awful with the names of maps again, so you're going to have to refresh me here. This is...
Shrine. This is Sanctum. Sorry, I was looking the other direction.
Initial guess was right. I'm just... Yep. I don't know what it is. These just cannot stick in my head sometimes for some reason. But, Sanctum here, we might be seeing some double shield come out of these teams. It's always been a pretty strong composition here. Double shield, of course, seeming to be pretty popular right now for some meta picks. But I also love seeing dive, and look, eating my own words there. Looks like we're seeing initial dive tanks coming out here out of both teams. We have the D.Va and the Winston over on the side of, I believe on the left-hand screen, we have the Platlaws. On our red, we're going to be having the Arctic Foxes. But we have that Sigma and Ball composition still going with the Tracer, though, so still a little divey. Maybe going with the bubble there with the Zarya. We'll have to see how they end up sticking. Going with the double bubble, actually. But this Pharah pick over on the side of the Platlaws, that's going to be interesting. That Ice that we see Icy going over to that Ashe, and at least that can be able to help deal with that here.
That's absolutely true. And before we get into this match, to start things off, please remember that we are raising funds for RAINN, the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network, as in our support of the Activision Blizzard employees. So please hit that exclamation donate so that we can continue to donate to their worthy cause. We're actually already a third of the way there. So let's go ahead and get into the action. This double bubble versus dive. Coming out for either side right now. It looks like Platlaws are going to be the first ones to engage on the objective. Off-brand, getting a little bit out of position there, but trying to engage on the objective as Light is already removed from the fight. And that might be enough to force Arctic Foxes back for a regroup as control already goes to the side of the Platlaw.
And I mean, look at the difference here. We have the Brigida over on the side of the Arctic Foxes, only up to 32% because there's no one for them to stun. You saw Platlaws were just staying back, using that poke. They have Barrage, they have the Nano Boost to go into the Winston here, and there's just no ult buildup really on the other side here.
That's really working out very well in their favor, and I think the initial pick onto Light is really kind of what has stalled them out there. As we pass 33%, though, the fight is getting ready to re-engage, and this Pharah is ready and raring to go. Beautiful picks coming in from Light and Off-brand right there, but the Barrage goes ahead and ties it up. AC getting the follow-up there as well onto Neptune. Gonna pop out that Primal Rage as control continues to climb. Ore past 50%. Off-brand trying to hold on to the objective, but gonna be unsuccessful. Gonna have to repeat, gonna have to go back with Dr. Tepper to the spawn area to regroup with the rest of the team.
Through we had 4 ultimates used there, so this is definitely the fight here for the Arctic Foxes to win. They're gonna have that EMP, they have the Graviton Surge, they have the Primal Rage here. They have a lot to win this fight, and they got to get this up quickly here. But you can't lose your Sombra this early. There's the EMP gone, and Jack, 80% left. Not tons of time left here.
Yeah, Alpha 2 Ore getting that first pick is going to make it hard for them to hold. The Graviton Surge, though, coming out from Dr. Tepper along with the Primal Rage, ends up getting slept out by BGM as A2 continues to try to hold the line right here. EMP finds all 6 coming in hot, but I don't think the team is there and ready to re-engage. It is going to go ahead and force Platlaws back and trigger the overtime. The Deadeye comes out just barely clipping Ice before Ice was able to take down Ender. Just perfect coming out there from Jake Leon to hold that Deadeye in place. The overtime wick is going to go ahead and burn out unless something big happens here for the side of Arctic Foxes. Platlaws will go ahead and take away the Sanctum 100-0.
Seems like the Arctic Foxes really didn't get any good engagement that they were expecting that whole time. Platlaws really got a hold of point. They had a pokier composition with the Pharah, and Arctic Foxes really didn't deal with it early enough. There were a couple of picks early in the fights, but I didn't really seem like they had the clean engagements they were wanting there with that initial double bubble. So I like it. We're seeing a little bit of a switch here now, going with that Reinhardt D.Va both ways, but they got to do something about A24 here if they're going to stick on this pharmacy. Actually, on this Pharah, it looks like they're running with the Lucio out. They'll probably switch to that Mercy for the pocket there. But, I mean, they don't have a hit scan to deal with this right now, Captain Jack. And unless we're seeing a switch there from Icy on their side, they're still going to have to do... It's going to really put a lot of pressure on them.
Yeah, Ice more than likely is going to swap from the... Well, actually, I guess not. And yeah, but I mean, it wouldn't be the first time we haven't seen a very skilled Mei player be able to play hit scan, and already you were just seeing Arctic Foxes, the pure aggression coming out from AC, just pushes right on in, or sorry, from Off-brand rather, pushing on in and just taking them right on out. That's going to go ahead and clean it up and give Arctic Foxes control of the point.
At 91 on the Shatter, you see a Reinhardt with the Lucio. Be careful from the Arctic Foxes. But 83% for the Barrage, so Platlaws are going to have ults to try to take this back here. It's going to depend who gets that first Shatter. There's the pick. There's no Immortality Field now.
Yeah, Neptune Ore out of the fight. You also have that additional hit scan potential from the map, and there it is. The Shatter comes in, grabs two as Offbrand tries to clean it up, but without the main heals in the fight, it's going to be really hard for them to hold the line. Light ends up getting taken down, but the picks are already coming in for the Arctic Foxes. They're going to continue to lock down this objective, even though A2 is trying to hold the line here and see if they can turn the tide. There's only so much that Afara can do, but nevertheless, it looks like they're going to continue to hold. Does end up finding Neptune and Offbrand, and Control swaps over at the 44% mark.
They got more there than they should have at the end, so good job there on the Arctic Foxes, but still sticking with this DPS combo. And it's going to be tough. It's going to be very difficult for them to re-engage here. They're going to have to really mitigate some of the sight lines that this Pharmacy is getting, but we have the double Symmetra ultimates, a little bit more here with the window, double support on the side of the Arctic Foxes. If they're able to get a pick here or deal with this Pharmacy or get the point quick, they could get the take here, but they got to be careful because the Barrage is already almost back online.
That's true. It's going to be up to Icy and Dr. Tepper to really work on that, using the teleporter to get into the objective as the barrier is engaged, and Offbrand is taking AC right on off of the map. I don't think A2 got the memo that the barrier was up for the other team right there, and even if Dr. Tepper wasn't there to eat it, would have gotten zero value right there. The self-destruct does come in for Sloth, though, as they go ahead and try to retake or keep the point in their favor, and it looks like Ender with that level 3 beam will hold the line.
Will, and up to 60% now. We still haven't seen the Mei ultimate come out from the Arctic Foxes. Light now with it. That should be their win condition here for this fight. They have to Shatter if they need it, but really, Neptune just can't keep getting picked. They've died first and last of these both fights from this Pharmacy. So they got to get in. They can't lose this Baptiste early. When that heals are gone, Offbrand's just a sitting duck. But Platlaws here, they still have the Shatter. They have this Symmetra teleporter. I like how they have that set up to move around, but Arctic Forces have got to be careful.
Almost seeing the boop come out there from A2 to try to send someone off the side, and it looks like Neptune is investing in being the hit scan, at least for a little bit. The Blizzard gets eaten by Sloth, and the Shatter comes out, finding zero value as well. Barrage finds two, and we'll go ahead and get the DMAC, and that is a fast and fierce cleanup from the Platlaws. Overtime Wick going to go ahead and burn on down, but there's nothing that the Arctic Foxes can do. Platlaws taking away Nepal 2-0 as they go ahead and head into map number 2.
And realistically, it was, I don't want to say it's just the Pharah, but it really just seems like it's kind of the Pharah there at the end.
Yeah.
I mean, they couldn't deal with it. They were getting ultimates about every fight, and they were getting those crucial pickoffs on the healers. And you can't win your fight if you lose your Baptiste early. Not even just for the healing, but as soon as you lose that Immortality Field, you're just setting yourself up for failure at the end. So it's really going to come down. Can Arctic Foxes shift up here on some of these maps that give the Pharah those sat lines and pick up a hit scan of some sort to deal with it, or stick a little closer in as a group, because you can't be losing people that early.
Yeah, and I think that that's one of the hard things about Nepal, right? Because you have to have, especially on areas like Shrine, like you expect that Symmetra to be out for the other side, or a Mei or something that's really providing a lot of CC and damage on the objective. So you have to have that ability on the point. So they had to figure out kind of which one to sacrifice, and unfortunately they weren't willing to adjust to sacrifice either of them. And I mean, it worked out a little bit in the beginning, but then they started allowing A2 to really get that value, and that's what ended up turning the tide. So it is going to be Arctic Fox's pick as we head into Assault. They're going to end up deciding where we're going to go next. And needless to say, based on the Pharah play that we saw, I'm not for certain if there is a really good choice of any of these maps that doesn't provide at least a lot of Sky potential.
Yeah, Volskaya would be probably what you would want to see if you were the Platlaws there. And we're getting the pick of Volskaya, it actually looks like, from the Arctic Foxes.
Interesting.
Maybe we see Volskaya picked. Yeah, it looks like Volskaya is what we're going to go with. Okay, the first point definitely opens up some Pharah play there. We do normally see an Ashe or some kind of hit scan. It tends to be Ashe now on that first point defense, which should help with that. Maybe for the Arctic Foxes, they were running that D.Va at the end, which was helping. The last barrage that we ended up seeing out of A2 on the Platlaws didn't really get as much value as a really well-placed Metro Wall and Defense Matrix that kind of mitigated one of those last barrages. So they'll have to be paying more attention to that. We might see the Sigma. We saw them open on that, switching back and forth on the last map. So maybe they have that in their back pocket, but ended up just going with the double bubble, I think it was, in that start for that map instead. But we'll see. They need to go with a hit scan here now. They had that Sombra pulled out earlier too. Didn't end up getting tons of value for it, but maybe on the attack, we'll see them utilizing that here as well. But it seems like both teams want to go with dive comps, at least at some point here. I'm going to expect that on the attacks at the least.
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be surprised by that. But the one thing that I would caution for the Arctic Foxes is if they plan to use that Ashe on the defense, you got to have that mercy pocket.
Yeah,
ever since Ashe recently got nerfed, like, you got to have that extra power to be able to put on your Ashe to make her effective. And then just for crowd control reasons, Ashe is great because that dynamite is pumping out almost 200 damage. If you get it in a really good group of people, you generate bobs like hotcakes on the objective. So if that's what they're going to invest in, that's definitely a great move. But if they don't have that mercy, that's going to be what hurts them.
Exactly. And used to be doing it on these assault maps just for that res. Now you're doing it just to give your DPS a fighting chance, especially if they're going up against a pharmacy. You can't not have at least 2 people dedicated to it there. So we'll see if they end up going with that. It'll be the Platlaws on the defense here first. We're going to see what the Arctic Foxes do on their attack here on Volskaya, which, correct me if I'm wrong here, Captain Jack, I feel like we only cast Volskaya Industries in Kings Row. So I feel like this is one of the maps we at least have down pretty well.
Well, yeah, you're probably about right. Volskaya is a really big pick for a lot of high-level play, just because it provides a lot of open space. Every now and again, you'll see Hanamura. Temple of Anubis is literally like the last choice that most teams pick. But thankfully, Kings Row isn't in rotation for the preseason, so no Kings Row for all you. You'll have to tune in during the regular season to be able to see some of that. But needless to say, looking at the compositions coming out, it looks like we are going to be seeing Platlaws go on the defense first. They have chosen the Ashe with that power boost and mercy and are investing in the double shield against the double bubble.
Yeah, double shield, running that far as well. They're going to have a really good crossfire here. You already see A2 on the right side of our map here from the attacker spawn. A little bunker of 4 on the left, so it's going to be difficult here on this dive. As soon as they push in on those 4, they're going to have that crossfire coming in. So it's going to come down on if Icy can apply enough pressure to them to really push them off this angle.
Yeah, and I think that's going to be the hardest part, right? Because you only have one mercy. You can only invest it onto one character at a time. So Platlaws need to be making sure that that mercy is exactly on the person it needs to be for that moment. You already saw the dive come in from off-brand, getting a little bit of poke as Arctic Foxes try to move to the high ground, but Ender's Dynamite is gorgeous with the hold coming in from AC. That's going to go ahead and lock things down for now. And oh no! Ender's actually falling incredibly low due to the dynamite bouncing off of off-brand shield. That's going to go ahead and give them the space they need, pushing Platlaws back to the bunker on the opposite side of the field as Arctic Foxes look to start taking this objective. Oh, first pick, Ore coming out from A2, sending Alpha Victor off the side with the follow-up onto Light. That's going to go ahead and shut down this push for now as the cleanup comes in from Platlaws. Already a minute and 15 seconds off the clock.
Yeah, they did the right thing there. They got him off the high ground. They pushed them back, but a couple of picks there, again from A2 on that pharmacy. This kind of ended that fight right after Arctic Foxes, did their job. But they have ultimates here. They got that pulse bomb up. They just got it before Tracer of Light was killed there, but now they have that nano boost. They can throw it onto off-brand, goes to Primal, but they have to be careful. Platlaws have ultimates of their own. They ended up using that window at the end of that fight. So that's a little bit of damage taken out of their place there, but they still have the barrage. They have, they're going to have the Bonko here. They're going to have the Valkyrie for Mercy. So They've got to be careful, really. We do see they're switching over to Mercy on the side of the Arctic Foxes now to help pocket Icy. They were on that Brigida up until pretty recently, so that might give them a little bit more sustain as they go into this fight and damage.
Yeah, unfortunately, there's not a lot that they're going to be able to do. Like we said, if you have that Ash, you really gotta have that Mercy pocket. And as you see right there, Sloth Nerd eating the Pulse Bomb as we see the double kill, triple kill coming in from A2. Like, there just seems to be nothing that Arctic Foxes can do right now to set up on this objective. And we're already past half the time on the clock.
That's true. They used the Pulse Bomb in that fight, but not tons else for the Arctic Foxes, so they still have a pretty good ult bank, but that ult bank's still building up for the Platlaws as well. But ults matter. They don't matter if you don't get to use them because you're dying early in the fights. A2 is just getting so much work done on this Pharah. I mean, this is tough here. Maybe the Arctic Foxes, I know they're getting close to that grab. You really don't want to give that up, but man, maybe they should have been running this D.Va to help try to eat some of this poke coming in.
Yeah, either a D.Va or just investing in the double hit scan, you know, just something that can really kind of lock down this damage. But I think the hardest part that they're having right now is the fact that they can't get set up. And it looks like Off-Brand Ore jumping onto this high ground is looking to use that Primal Rage to go ahead and start sending folks off the side. Unfortunately, they're going to drop down on the objective. And it looks like Neptune has already invested that nano, and there it is, the pick start coming in with the DPS Ore down from Platlaws. This may be dead, done, and dusted as we go ahead and see Objective Alpha finally captured with 20 seconds remaining on the clock.
Fantastic job there from Alfbrand, doing a great job there with that Primal Juggle. Isolated that Ashe, caused tons of disruption on the high ground there for the Platlaws, and it gave the rest of their team time to set up and take the angle they needed. Pump the damage out. They took down the Pharah then. They were able to focus that down, so really good job there from Off-Brand. They're going to have 3 minutes here to try to get a tick here on to second. The steamroll probably going to be tough, really, just with the Pulse Bomb. But, you know, out of any time, this is their best time for it because there's only one ultimate inside of Platlaws. The other 5 pretty low here. So if there's any good time to take it, this would be it.
That's true, and already the initial pick coming in from Ender onto Ice as the Barrage comes out during the res, gets the double, triple kill. On top of that, there is just nothing that seems to stop A2 right now as they stagger out Alpha Victor, and that's going to shut down any potential for that roll.
My goodness, having an absolutely insane game so far for A2. Really giving a name for themselves here in the preseason so far, but we're not going to see many changes from the Arctic Foxes. The Nano Boost going to be online here, but with 2 minutes left, Captain Jack, maybe it's a time to invest that here to try to build up a little bit here for Off-Brand, but you can't keep losing picks this early. My goodness, how many times has A2 ended the fight before it's even started?
Yeah, I mean, that's really what you got to be looking at right there. And honestly, at this point, if they're going to swap to the double hit scan, it's got to be now. Like, Light has to get off of that because with all the investment that we are seeing onto A2 right now, there's just nothing that they can do. And there's the next pick coming in onto Ice from Ender once again. The Ashe battle just seems to really be in Platlaw's favor as well.
Gosh, look how far forward the Platlaws are holding, too. They're holding at the very front because it's making them stay back, and it's giving A2 all of the space. But now Arctic Foxes have 1:20 left. They've got to either engage here or back off, but they already lost 2.
Oh, no. Off-Brand just barely got the Primal Rage online and wasn't able to utilize it in time. And now you see the Valkyrie also coming out from Alpha Victor and gets picked off by Souls of all people on that BAP. Able to take down the Valkyrie Mercy with only 1 minute left on the clock. Arctic Foxes, they have to get at least a tick on this if they want to feel safe going to Objective Bravo on their defense.
I don't even know if Arctic Foxes have been able to even attack second point here. I think they've been picked basically coming through this choke the whole way. There hasn't really been a clean engagement for them, but 4 ultimates on their side, 5 on the Platlaws. Platlaws still have the advantage going into this fight. And there's the Barrage. This is going to be really difficult for the Arctic Foxes. They need to get through this choke quickly.
That's true. It's all going to be up to Dr. Tepper and make sure they're in position. The Barrage comes out and it, almost saves the day. Neptune does fall, but A2 does get them and the DMAC. But the Bob on point for Ice is just lighting up the kill feed, as does Enders. And it looks like they're now shooting at one another, as good Bobs do. taking out each other is what their bag is. But they got to get back on this objective. 2 seconds remaining on the clock, and there is Light. Dr. Tepper now in the fight as we see Ender swapping over to that Sombra to go ahead and get a Dr. Tepper out of this engagement and keep them off the point for now. Flatlaw's continuing to hold the line as we see pick after pick coming in from them. The overtime wick is going to go ahead and burn out as the feed fest comes in from the Arctic Foxes, but there's nothing that they can do. They are hemorrhaging right now as only objective Alpha is captured.
Well, they ended up getting to be there at least, which is good. But that's difficult. That's really stinks for them. They had 3 minutes, but really they didn't get a clean engagement until the very end. They didn't even get a good chance to push through because of that aggressive hold the Flatlaws were taking. And again, it just came down to A2 on that Pharah, just taking up so much space. You had, I believe it's are we going with Ants? Is that how we're going with the main tank there for the Flatlaws?
AC is what they requested.
Okay, AC requested. AC was holding so aggressively on the Winston there. And if they were doing that on the defense with that hold here on second, I'm going to expect them to do that probably here on the offense again. They're probably going to run that dive comp, or maybe going to try double shield. We'll see if they end up changing it up a little bit. But that's really got to hurt if you're the Arctic Foxes. You seem to crack the code there on first point by sending in off-brand, causing disruption, and then letting your team deal with the Pharah. And then you really didn't get to attempt that here on to B and didn't get a tick out of it.
Yeah, and I mean that also took them 4 minutes to pull off, though. I think we should also note on that. And I think it looks like Dr. Tepper and Light are debating how they're going to invest in this, and Light is continuing to stick on that Tracer, which, I mean, it's not that they're not getting a decent amount of value out of the Tracer. It's just the simple fact that they don't have that additional hit scan to get that additional value onto A2, but it looks like we're actually going to see the double shield rotation. This is wow. We have not seen this move in quite some time.
Yeah.
Because it's so predictable. And now we're going to see the swap actually over to that Pharah as we see the double shield moving its way onto the high ground after that Symmetra teleport.
Wow, yeah, and that's not the position you want to be in as the Arctic Foxes here.
Oh!
No, there's the first pick already.
Initial pick there from Ender on to Light is not going to be a way to start that off. And A2, maybe not the way that you wanted to aggress onto the into the area of the Arctic Foxes. As we go ahead and see, Off-Brand is falling incredibly low as of right now, but the heals are coming in to try to go ahead and keep them safe. It looks like they're able to stave the bleeding for now as we hit the 3-minute mark.
Yeah, Off-Brand's got to help push him off the high ground. He's doing a good job of that here so far. But he's got to be careful. He can't get too low there, but they're giving up so much space on this right side now to A2. They're going to have this crossfire. And now, yeah, Flatlaws have a chance to cap point, and Arctic Foxes are going to have to drop for this.
That is absolutely true. They're going to have to find a way to rotate into this, and Light being able to take down that immortality might be the space they need, and there it comes. Off-Brand and Icy light up the kill feed with the bodies of the Flatlaws, and wow! Off-Brand just diving in, bubbling over A2 to at least get a shot on themselves. I mean, goodness gracious.
That was pretty impressive. Normally you see someone trying that against the D.Va Bomb. That's the first time I think I've seen someone doing it against a rocket, but respect to them. Off-Brand doing a good job really dealing with that right side high ground, but now there's no more teleporter, so Flatlaws are going to have to push right side high ground here and try to force them off themselves. And they got to be careful though. Light's got that pulse bomb. There's a primal rage from Off-Brand. They should be able to deal with this here.
That's true. They just got to wait for the rotation to come out, and that's exactly what they're doing as they rotate to left side high ground. But Ender on the bunker grabs the double kill, triple kill coming in. Ender is just absolutely on fire. You get the Mercy Pocket, you get the bongos, and you get Objective Alpha. Easy day for the Flatlaws. They were able to get it with 1:30 remaining on the clock. That's going to give them over 4 minutes to push into Objective Bravo.
4 minutes just to get a tick here, and look at the ultimates they still have in store here, Captain Jack. This is not looking good for the Arctic Foxes. No, they didn't invest tons into that fight, but we have the Barrage, we have the Bob, they're going to have the Flux, And there's no defensive ultimate to deal with the Gravitic Flux here. They don't have an Immortality Field, no Beat, no Transcendence. There's a lot of fight-winning ultimates that can be thrown at the Arctic Foxes here. It's really going to come down to can they get the picks early on here and try to stagger out the Platlaws early on. Light needs to get an early stick on someone.
All right. Well, Light was trying and immediately gets taken out by Ender, as does Offbrand with Ore 2 off of the field. Ender's probably going to be, uh-oh. Donna. We'll have to wait and see. It looks like the auto pause has activated, so we're just going to be waiting and seeing what happens there. But needless to say, Platlaws have this locked as of right now. There is nothing that looks like they're going to be able to kind of change the turn of the fight for Arctic Foxes, and it looks like it looks like for the side of Arctic Foxes, it looks like Offbrand had a little bit of an issue, hence the weird action after the dive in onto the high ground. It looks like they're going to go ahead and invest right back into the action as we go ahead and see Bob invested. Dr. Tepper does find A2 and Light able to finally get a good stick in, but the res comes in. But Ender's Bob already shut down in the action. Antinade comes in onto AC, but nobody is there to help out the poor Ana. Thankfully, somebody finally gets in there to help him out, and they'll be able to hold 4 now, despite the odd DC.
Yeah, that's very good there for the Arctic Foxes. They didn't have to invest much, just their DPS ults, and they got the other 4 up. We see A2 now off of the Pharah to the Widow. Not necessarily the pick you end up seeing your flex DPS switching to. They're going with the double hit scan. You know, maybe trying to get some picks out of this. Oh, just about taking off the head. Whoo, they got a haircut on that one. That was as close as it comes.
I would love to see the camera angle of that. You know, when you see the slow motion shots in those movies that the bullet just goes flying by and grabs a couple strands. But A2 already finding Light. I got to tell you, Light is trying, but that Tracer is just not working out for them. Double kill coming in onto Alpha Victor as well, and it's going to be up to Offbrand, it looks like, to get into that backline, but somebody's got to hold the objective because they are just getting pick after pick right now on point. We're going to have to see Offbrand use that Primal to get back into the action, but with the primary support offline for the side of Platlaws, it doesn't look like it even matters. They're able to push them off that objective, grab the tick that they needed, and be able to take away Volskaya heading into halftime, 2-0 against Arctic Foxes.
Well, I mean, we saw, I think, the Arctic Foxes with a little bit of a change there at the end. Definitely looking much better on this second map and the second point here. Their attack was a little shaky at first. That far, my goodness. What was it? I think was it a 5K ended up being at the end after the Mercy pick?
Yeah.
My goodness. Definitely having quite a game there for A2. But, you know, I think Arctic Foxes, they showed they were shutting down the Pharah at the end. I mean, to be fair, we're going to see point B of Volskaya. Definitely not the most Pharah-friendly point. But, again, switching over to that Widow. And we're making just as much space for their team. Picked off that Tracer and the Mercy. And it's hard to go into your fight not having that extra support available to them. But Platlaws looking pretty decisive here so far, Jack.
That's absolutely true, Booth, and I'm having a hard time figuring out, specifically for Light, keep opting onto that Tracer, but it seems that Ender's just got it on lock, has no worries whatsoever about Light trying to get into their backline, because 9 times out of 10, they end up getting picked off before they're able to get the full value of their kit in. So it's going to be interesting to see kind of what happens after the halftime. But before we go to that break, I want to let you know that the Overwatch Tranquility community is raising money for RAINN, the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network. They are the largest anti-sexual violence organization, and any donations to RAINN will be used to help survivors, educate the public, and improve public policy. And we're doing all of this in support of the Activision Blizzard workers that are right now fighting for better conditions for their staff. So please consider donating what you can by hitting that exclamation donate in the chat. We have already reached a third of our goal, heading to that $1,000 goal. And I'm sure that we probably received a couple additional donations. So when we come back from the break, we'll be sure to give out those thank yous. So go ahead, enjoy your halftime. We'll be back with more Overwatch action in a few moments. All right, welcome back, Overwatch Tranquility fans, as we head back into the Transcendence tier and see whether or not Arctic Foxes can go ahead and pull out those brooms and sweep the Flatlaws back to where they came from. Flatlaws currently sitting up 2-0 in our series tonight. And if I remember correctly for the preseason rules booth, this is match point. So if Flatlaws take this away, we're done for the night, and that makes me kind of sad. I want to see 5 maps.
I know, first to 3. We ended up seeing a really close one in our game last night. We ended up getting a win to make it at least to a 2-1 here, but I'm hoping we get to see the Arctic Foxes taking it back here on the Blizzard World so we can get a chance, because so far it's kind of been flat loss all the way through.
And that's actually a surprising pick for the side of Arctic Foxes. For as much Pharah as they've been seen, they've been picking a lot of very heavily Pharah favored maps, and I'm not exactly for certain why they're doing that. But needless to say, hopefully they have something up their sleeve this time around. Maybe they're gonna invest in the double hit scan. Maybe they're gonna pull out a Pharah Mercy of their own and see if they can go ahead and kind of turn the tide with that. So it'll be interesting to see, nevertheless, because Blizzard World always has a very interesting attack approach, especially for first point.
Yes, they do. We'll get that music turned down here in just 1 second before we get in to Blizzard World here. Sorry, I think Worst is one of the people that has like the 40 or 50 Discord notifications. They see the numbers pop up and they're just like, we don't. But, okay, now we're going to be going into Blizzard World here, and you're right there, Captain Jack. We're going to see if that pharmacy is still being the presence that it's been for the Flatlaw so far. Even on some points where you don't expect the Pharah to be so strong, they're still been dominant so far. A2 has just been phenomenal. So, and we're going to be on the defense here again for the Flatlaws. Arctic Foxes have got to get the map win here. We can't stress that. It's match point for them. And first hold on Blizzard World is almost as common as pushing it to the end. Probably even more common, honestly. This is a map to get full held on if there's any maps for it.
That's absolutely true. I do want to give a special shout out to the Doorcast in the chat, coming in with a $5 donation for Rain. We appreciate you, buddy. The wonderful Contenders caster climbing up from the Tranquility ranks to represent us at that high level of play. We appreciate you being here as the Season 7 opens. Nevertheless, be sure to hit that exclamation donate in the chat so that you can go ahead and donate what you can. Even $1, $5, any little bit that you got goes to help such a wonderful organization for something that we definitely work to stand for and reflect in our own community.
That's right. Door getting a start here, mostly because of me. I'll take credit for it. No, of course not. Because of the skills that he has here. And thank you again, Door, for the donation there. But getting into our match here now, Captain Jack, we're going to see that double bubble dive coming out from the Arctic Foxes, going with that Sombra, going against this double shield with the Pharah. And I think this is a great composition here for the Flatlaws.
That is true, and I find a very interesting composition coming in for the side of Arctic Foxes. Light swapping over to the Sombra. Instead of utilizing the hit scan, they're actually investing more in trying to take out the ground opponents. But needless to say, it doesn't look like that's going to be working out very well in their favor either, as we see Light and I believe Icy already taken out of play. The rest of the team going to have to move back and wait for their DPS to regroup with them.
This is tough here for me, Jack. I'm no coach, and I understand that the Brigida is pretty helpful in these double bubble compositions, but I just feel like Alpha isn't getting much. They don't have much to do right now. They throw out the armor packs every now and then, but there's nobody diving into their team for them to help stun against. They really just are trying to pump everything into off-brand, but oh, there's the first pick release for them. Taking out the Sigma should help.
This is true, and the follow-up there on to Ender will indeed go ahead and put things in their favor. This 4-5 as we see the bongos coming out. The Primal Rage utilized to take those bongos off the field, and now we're going to see Off-Brand start juggling a VGS, sending them right on over the edge and looking to find Jake Leon as well. It doesn't look like they're good. There we go. Ends up finding them after the Valkyrie wears off right there. Or, no, sorry, just getting out of position right there. And it looks like Ender back in the fight. Okay, it looks like for some reason Arctic Foxes pulled off. I don't know if there was like a lot of picks that came in that we didn't see or what.
I think they were kind of rotating around point there, and we're thinking Off-Brand was going to end up holding it. But now they should at least, they should get, but I mean, this should give Flatlaws a chance to recontest. I would, okay, maybe not. That was weird. I won't lie.
Yeah.
I don't know how to break that one down there, but I think Arctic Foxes were trying to go around and clean up some loose ends, pushing forward for position, and kind of forgot about the point there. But regardless, now we have the Arctic Foxes pushing into second. This double bubble really going to shine here on second point. If Off-Brand's able to take some of that high ground away and force Flatlaws low, they're going to have a great chance to get a massive EMP here. They have that Graviton Surge as well. The Nano Boost is back up. This is looking very good for the Arctic Foxes.
It's absolutely true. EMP comes out, finds 2, and the cleanup's gotta be there. A2, though, in the back line, finds Dr. Tepper and Neptune. That barrage claiming the lives of almost half of the Arctic Foxes, and they're going to be forced back to spawn to regroup with the team.
Well, now we're going to see the Flatlaws getting a better setup here now with this double shield composition. Oh, my goodness. These early picks. 2 staggers. Oh, my goodness. The Arctic Foxes, this is so difficult for them. They can't keep losing people this early. Basically, every fight's adding 20 to 30 seconds onto it because they have to regroup afterwards and go back in. I mean, they're probably losing 1 to 2 fights every single point just because of these staggers they're getting. And that is deadly. But now, even the worst part for the Arctic Foxes is Flatlaws are set up exactly how they want to be. Look at this crossfire they have set up. Again, this is going to be hard because what do you dive? You try to dive the Sigma, then you have the crossfire there from the fire, but they got to push in quick here, and you really got to get a good grab off.
Let's see if they can make it happen. They got to watch out for that suck, though. Looking to see it come, and the Pulse Bomb does find Sloth, and the grabs a chew, but that Fortify is going to allow them to get out of there along with the Bongos and that Ant Matrix invested, but they ain't worried about it. No way, no how. The res does come in onto Sloth, bringing them back into the fight as we see Ender essentially trying to single hold this objective against the rest of the team. Off-Brand's going to make their way back to the high ground to go ahead and try to poke at the Flatlaws once again, but are going to find to be unsuccessful as the payload continues to slowly march forward.
Yeah, about 2 minutes left here. They still have this EMP and Nano Boost up, which is very good. They can EMP, throw that Nano Boost onto Off-Brand, and let them go in onto the Flatlaws, who are going to be pretty set up here, as you see, with this double shield in the back. Oh, there it is. 5-man!
5-man EMP coming in clutch, and Off-Brand gets the Nano to start cleaning things up, grabs 2, but Alpha is able to get that trade, and the res comes in. Gonna go ahead and even up the fight for now. Right now, Gravitic Flux comes in, but gets backed out by Light, just not far enough away from that Sombra to get out of there, and now we're gonna see A2 walk on over to that McCree to go ahead and provide a little bit more ground presence to help out the rest of the team, but it doesn't seem to matter. The spawn's right there, and it looks like Arctic Foxes are ready, raring, and willing to walk right on into it. Team Kill comes out loud and proud as Objective Bravo is captured, and they move into the castle.
Yeah, you're seeing how good of a job Light's doing to switch A2 over onto this McCree to help deal with it. They have that double hit scan, but really that McCree's there for that stun. We're going to see them going over to that Winston D.Va now off of the double shield onto third point. We're going to see Dr. Tepper switch back over to the Zarya again, but EMP is back online here, Captain Jack. They have the Pulse Bomb. They're going to be able to Nano Boost here as well. 6!
P coming in clutch, and the Nano is almost online. Icy falls incredibly early, though, as they try to follow up on it. A2 not having any of it.
Goodness.
Thought that they were deadly just on the Pharah and the Widowmaker, but goodness gracious! A2 already, just in 2 fights, has the Deadeye up after a 5-man kill streak.
Oh my gosh, 6 people down there for Light with the EMP and 5 down for A2 in return to it. That just hurts. I mean, what else do you do as a Sombra there? You're like, I hit 6, and then turn around, your whole team's dead. Oh my goodness. Well, now Platlaws have still a good chance to hold here. They're gonna have 3 big ultimates, but this has got to be a dry push from Arctic Foxes, unless they get a pick on A2 like that.
There's a good way to start things off with A2 already out of the fight. It looks like AC in the back line trying to see if they can juggle out Alpha Victor. We'll get some help from Enders in the end, but eventually get taken down, but are still creating that space. Now we're seeing the Primal coming out from A2 just to go ahead and zone out the objective. We'll end up supercharging Dr. Tepper with the utilization of that bubble to go ahead and block it, and Offbrand is just cleaning it up afterwards. Sloth-Nerd getting staggered there on the high ground as we see the DMEC come out, and the cart might finally make its way into Objective Charlie pretty easily.
And I thought Juggle God was one of our casters in running a show, not Fox's off-brand is just insane. But look at this, they have 3 huge ultimates.
Woo! 3-man EMP coming in on card, and Offbrand is just lighting up the kill feed. Alpha Victor getting in on the action as well. The self-destruct comes out, does find Dr. Tepper, just didn't have the shield up in time, but it doesn't matter. 9 seconds, perfect on the clock as they go ahead and head into round 2.
Those 9 seconds are fantastic for the Arctic Foxes, because, I mean, overtime's nice, but on a hybrid map like this here, that's giving them that extra attack. So those huge. You can't stress how important those are. But my goodness, what a change from the Arctic Foxes. Looking a little difficult on the first 2 maps. Not seeming like they could deal with the pharmacy composition, but really Light's job there on that Sombra, forcing A2 to switch over to the McCree, which, I mean, A2 did great on the McCree, but I think it just showed how much having that crossfire with the DPS of the Platlaws was affecting the Arctic Foxes. Forced them to play a little closer together, really gave them more advantage into the fights. I mean, Alpha was able to get a lot more work in there, I think, on the Brigida when their team didn't have to play as split up. The double bubble was doing great. Offbrand was dominating on that Winston. And, you know, that's what they've got to push for here. They had whatever they were talking about at halftime, they isolated the issues. And we'll be interested to see if the Platlaws end up going with that fire composition at the moment, showing the McCree Reaper. I don't know if we're going to see that. That'll be interesting if we do. But we'll see what they end up running here. If they go with the fire on an attack like we're probably expecting, it's going to be difficult. Again, no hit scan available for the Arctic Foxes, going with that Tracer and with that Sombra, which, I mean, was working very well for them at the end. But if we see a more wide composition like a Widowmaker or something here, maybe just trying to get a pick from the Platlaws, it's going to be hard to deal with anything long range.
That's absolutely true, and I'm not for certain what Alpha Victor's doing right there. Standing behind Neptune is not where you want to be with that shield, nevertheless, but Light does get that initial pick on to A2 to go ahead and start things off. And I gotta say, the pick of Ender swapping over to the Reaper, great choice. Offbrand is getting a heck of a ton of value, and having those Hellfire shotguns to be able to fight back is important.
You saw how quick Offbrand dove in and was like, I'm out. See ya.
I believe there's a song about that might be playing in Offbrand's head right now. But the bubble will come in. AC does find life on the Mega Health Pack and take them out before they're able to utilize it to their favor. We do see Offbrand moving to the high ground. His first tick does already come in for the side of Platlaws. Massive anti-nade as we see Offbrand cleaning it up. Does find BGM, and the trade comes in on to Icy. The hack comes in second tick on the objective as the just the hack, sorry, comes in on to Ender. That's going to go ahead and clear the objective once again, but with already 88.8%, that's going to be rough to hold for any team.
It really is. I mean, they have ultimates to deal with it. They're going to have the EMP and the Nano Boost, which we've seen how deadly that can be for the Arctic Foxes, just to give Offbrand a little bit of space to run around. And if they can build up a Grav Pulse, I mean, those are 2 fight-winning combinations for them there. There's not tons for the Platlaws really to deal with yet, but if A2 gets a good stick, which no, they're not going to yet, all right, you know, this is winnable for the Arctic Foxes to hold here.
Yeah, this is absolutely beautiful. Even if they end up using all 3, EMP coming out, grabs 4, and the nanoed Offbrand going in, just tickling. Oh my gosh, you just see the Platlaws falling over in laughter because that tickle gun is just sending them side over side. Sloth Nerd here getting staggered out and slept. No! Oh, Dr. Tepper, it's just like, hey, are you okay? We just want to make sure you're okay. Come out with actually not going to get the DMAC, but ends up sending themselves over the side, but still big stagger with 1:40 on the clock.
Oh, I don't know what we missed there, but it looks like Icy threw out the Pulse Bomb at the end of that fight because they had the Grav Pulse combo, but tried to pulse the D.Va. Okay, that's worse with the
Why?
It's a little beat. There's no real defense ultimate to deal with that. I mean, the Sloth could eat that, but that could have been an absolute fight winner. But still, with 1:18 here, Arctic Foxes, even if they lose this fight, have done their job.
Well, you know, you see the Grav come in, massive anti and off-brand again, pulling out the Feather Duster to just tickle everyone into oblivion. You do see AC on the high ground with the Primal, sending them back, and A2 able to get the stick onto Alpha Victor as they swap on over to the Tracer. It looks like they might finally be able to take this objective. The only one left on point for right now is Neptune, but we are going to see Dr. Tepper move on over to that Wrecking Ball to go ahead and recontest the objective. The Nano, though, coming in onto A2, I believe, to try to see if they can get that Pulse Bomb up once again. Gets run right on over. BP by Dr. Tepper. Not going to let them touch this objective with Nano. 30 seconds left on the clock, though, and a plethora of ultimates getting ready to come online.
Yeah, rush hour there for the Arctic Foxes getting back to point, but look at those 3 big ultimates again. This is going to be tough for the Platlaws to get in. It's going to come down to if Ender or A2 can get a pick here with this DPS ultimates, but they've got to get something really quick here because the Arctic Foxes are geared and ready to go.
Ooh, Ender ends up finding light after the translocator out, so the EMP's not going to be online. We do see the Blossom on the high ground get slept out, but not without claiming Alpha Victor in tow. We will go ahead and see the cleanup come in from Platlaws finally. In overtime, they're able to claw their way into Objective Alpha and take their fight to the streets.
Yeah, but 2 minutes and 23 seconds isn't tons of time. If Arctic Foxes, which they should get at least one hold here with this EMP that they have available to them, they're going to switch to the double bubble composition again. Dr. Tepper going back off of that Wrecking Ball, but a good forward hold here from Off-Brand, trying to put a little bit of pressure in, but now A2 switching back over to the Pharah. We don't have the Mercy yet to deal with it, but we're probably going to expect one of the supports for the Platlaws to switch back over here. Probably Jake after this ultimate up.
That's absolutely true, but I think the interesting pick I see right now is A2, or sorry, Sloth Nerd on the Wrecking Ball. I mean, when you're against the Sombra, that's not usually the pick that you go for, but nevertheless, they're finding a lot of success with their composition as they go ahead and rapidly push their way into Objective Bravo. AC holding the line and holding strong for right now, and Sloth already has Minefield on the line. The EMP comes out, finds the rest of the team on the objective, and the hack continues to focus down Sloth the Nerd. Pulse Bomb taking him down from ice, and that's going to be enough to hold the cart and head us into final fight territory.
Yeah, they have the Nano Boost. They're going to have the Rally and that Primal. This Rally that's going to come out from Alpha is going to be pretty big for them, especially if they group up around Cart on this last hold. A2 will get a barrage up this fight, 67% just from that last one, and the Minefield. So that's quite a lot of crowd control and space they can take with that. But Arctic Foxes, at least are going to push OT here, you'd assume.
That's absolutely true, but the way that we've been seeing Light generate those EMPs, I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see one by the end. We do see the Minefield on point, but Sloth gets taken out before it finds any value whatsoever, and the cleanup continues to be fast and fierce right now. AC in the backline trying to punish Neptune, but will be met by a very angry Off-Brand and taken down in the end. 20 seconds remaining on the clock, and we are now in final fight territory. It looks like they get just enough time to get that final contest.
Yeah, they should be able to get at least one more good contest here as the team. They have both DPS ults on the side of the Platlaws, but look at the fight winners for Arctic Foxes. 3 huge cleanups. They have Grav, they're going to have Nano, and they have Pulse Bomb here.
It's absolutely true. Overtime now ticking away. A2 coming out with the barrage. Gets shut down by ice. A Light coming in, trying to get that EMP off, but gets canceled out. But the Pulse Bomb doesn't care about your EMP or your feelings as they go ahead and take down 2. The res comes in to bring Sloth back into the fight, but it is all for naught. Sloth is the only one left holding the objective, and the claws are finally out for the Arctic Foxes. They hold the line on objective Bravo and bring us 2-1 in our series.
Now that Arctic Foxes, after even just seeing, I'm going to say past the point A or point B, you knew they weren't losing that map. Yeah. They picked this one for a reason. They knew this was the composition for them. They look like a completely different team here after halftime. And really, you saw that Sombra really come alive there. Off-brand doing great. Dr. Tepper had a great map there on the Zarya as well. But it's really got to come down to, at least I think, light Sombra play that map. Ice did a fantastic job on that Tracer, but they were getting EMPs way faster here with the setup. They had to switch up to the Reaper to try to deal with off-brand, but their alt rotations were literally almost textbook in every single scenario. They were getting the EMP up, they were sending in off-brand, giving him the nano boost. He might use the primal at the end to clean up, sometimes he would save it. Then they had the grab in the next fight. It was perfect. They were balancing things out, and they were building up ultimates so quickly that they didn't have to take those dry fights to help build things back up. They could just keep cycling through those combos.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. And one thing to notice is that Ender never ended up using that Blossom until that fight held up, just didn't get the opportunity to be able to use that first Blossom that they earned up because of what you said, that those rotations that continued coming out from the Arctic Foxes. And this is odd, right? Like, this is not the typical counter that you see to a Far Mercy composition that's bugging you, but needless to say, it is an answer. Being able to see the utilization of the Sombra to just take out the ground forces, because especially on maps like this, somebody's got to be on cart, somebody's got to be on the point, and it can't be A2 because they got to be in the sky doing the damage. So as long as you take out everybody that's supposed to be on the point capturing it while A2's doing the damage, you're going to keep getting the work done, and we might see the same thing here on Rialto.
Yeah, I mean, on Volskaya, we were seeing them try to throw the Ashe at it, and it just wasn't working. I mean, as a lower-level player, your coaches always told you two things. Either one, you throw everything out the fair and deal with it then, or you forget about it and take care of the rest of the team. And normally you went with the first option because it's a lot easier in our little plat brains to deal with that, but we're up to Transcendence here now. They're able to actually run things the way they're supposed to be run. They went with that second option, and it's really working out so much better for them, I think, here so far. I mean, they're really going at it 4v6, and if you take care of it quick and you're diving the right targets, you're playing closer together as a team, I don't care how good a Pharah is, it's tough to deal with that, and Platlaws had to make the switches for it, and the switches just didn't come quick enough apparently this time.
Yeah, and that's something that I'm really enjoying about this play, because Light also wasn't getting a whole lot of value on the Tracer, but seeing Ice move over to the Tracer, it seems that they have they were either able to gain more opportunities or just have better mechanics on the Tracer to get the full value of that kit. You know, we saw single, double, triple pulse bombs coming in, or at very least the pulse bomb doing enough damage to really disrupt the Platlaws right now. And we're starting to see the brooms coming out of the closet and getting ready to start sweeping the Platlaws back as we head into Rialto.
Yeah, they're gonna have to clean through these streets here. My favorite map to watch. I think it's just so beautiful. But also, I love the gameplay on this map. Again, Platlaw is going to be opening on that defense. We're going to have the attack from the Arctic Foxes, and we're going to see the Rein Diva. Haven't seen too much AC on the Reinhardt tonight. A2 is going to be opening on that Widowmaker. Sombra for Ender, so, not lots of damage, really, for the Platlaws. Running the Lucio Baptiste as well. Definitely, this is a different composition than we've really seen out of them tonight. They're relying on picks. They're going to rely on Ender to cause some disruption, for AC to run in and get a little bit of damage, but this should be counterable by the Arctic Foxes if they're able to just not avoid these sightlines. We're going to see them probably on the double bubble is my guess. Maybe Off-Brand's going to stick on the hog for a hook or something. I would love to see, double bubble. Going again on the Sombra. Neptune's got to be careful and try. There's not really a Reinhardt shield to block these sightlines, but if they're able to jump onto A2 early, it could work out for them.
Light already getting focused out right there. And taking a quick look in the chat real quick, it looks like Ice did comment that they're actually new to playing Tracer. So hence why they were having such a big issue. Isn't part of their kit, which is totally fine. We all have our strengths and weaknesses, but nevertheless, it looks like Ice is well practiced on that Tracer, grabbing the double kill already as the hack comes in onto AC from Light, and they're just going to keep bowling on over, trying to move into this open area. AC continuing to hold the line for now, but that anti-nade is going to be hard for them to continue to do so.
Excuse me. Yeah, as soon as they lost that main tank too, you saw they have to push back because they got nothing to deal with these sightlines. A2's already getting close to those sites. They're going to have the window here from VGA as well, but I mean, Icy and Light are building up these DPS ultimates pretty quickly here. If they're able to get an EMP off early on here, but like a good hack again from Ender. I mean, look at the difference in our Sombra, 50% across each way, but the any hack onto off-brand just stops the fight before it even begins.
That's absolutely true, but Light has that EMP online ready to go. They are getting a full amount of value, and Dr. Tepper actually trying to speed into the back line to see if they can get the pick onto A2. Self-destruct does come out from Sloth to go ahead and create some additional chaos, and the picks are being traded right now on VGM and off-brand right now. Flatlaw's continuing to hold this objective as the rally gets popped by Alpha Victor. EMP finds massive massive grab, and the cleanup is fast and fierce. A2, the only remaining player on the board, gets found out by Light, and that's going to be objective Alpha for the Arctic Fox.
Great target focus from the Arctic Foxes. They took down VGA. There was no immortality. I mean, they threw in that EMP from Light just to seal the deal, but then that was the fight win. There was no way they were going to be able to get through without that immortality field with all of the dive into that Graviton Surge from the Arctic Foxes, but they had to invest a lot there. Really only the Pulse Bomb left, and there is the EMP from the Platlaws. You're going to assume they're going to push in pretty quickly here with it, but if they can avoid a lot of people getting caught on this EMP, it's a pretty even fight after that.
It's absolutely true. Let's see if they can make short work of this. Ender, though, finding Light in the back line, definitely not where you want the enemy Sombra to be at, but Alpha Victor on that high ground. The anti-nades that continue to come in from Neptune are absolutely clean. Player from last season that was on the Inferno Foxes, moving up to the Master Class, and is just showing to be a force to be reckoned with here against the Platlaw.
Well, that shows you. I mean, Ender and Light were having a little duel in the back end. Even though Ender ended up the better of it, they weren't there to really help their team out. But, Soul Shatter in from AC. They're going to get the kills from it, though.
Yeah, cleaning up that support line, that's going to be enough. The EMP also invested from Ender. That might be a little bit too much investment, to be honest with you, because you're getting nothing from that, as objective Bravo is captured. A good old nice 420 on the clock as they go ahead and start making their way into objective Charlie with a first pick.
Very nice. So we do see Ender over onto that McCree, probably why they threw out that EMP at the end, but Arctic Foxes are going to have an EMP of their own, as well as a Graviton Surge. This fight's starting right up again here, Captain Jack, and we're seeing this is the first time we've seen Ryan Zari out of Platlaws.
That is true. Immortality field invested, but another massive anti-nade coming in from Neptune. There's nothing that can stop the play of the skilled Ana. And we're heading into what could be final fight territory unless Platlaws can push this back.
I know, 3 minutes and 40 seconds as well, and they have so much time with Light falling. You'd assume the Arctic Foxes will probably just hold off here, wait a little bit, but there's not tons of ultimates yet. VGM has the window going to this fight. Oh, there's a good pick there as well. Another stagger onto the Arctic Foxes. They still have a ton of time, but, you know, it's going to be tough here again now. We have Slothner is going to have that Graviton Surge available for the Platlaws. They should be able to help rotate some ultimates through here, unless Light's able to land a massive EMP, and then they can throw that Nano Boost on the offer, and they're looking for, they're waiting for it.
There it is, 4-man EMP coming in a clutch, and as the anti-nade reigns in as well, it doesn't look like there's enough support to at least keep them alive for now. Graviton Surge coming out just to hold off-brand in place, and the Deadeye finds both tanks through the Amp Matrix. That's going to go ahead and clean up the cart for now as the Platlaws continue to hold the line.
They did, and they ended up investing the EMP, which is a pretty big one. They threw that Nano Boost, and they threw in the Primal Rage. So Arctic Foxes have got to regroup here. Just the Pulse Bomb left for them. But Platlaws are going to have that shatter as well. That's going to be really deadly here at the end. We probably need to see Off-Brand. So there it is. Off-Brand switching over to the Reinhardt now. We're going to see Brawl tanks coming out both ways here. A little bit of Rein Zarya. And actually, we see some wholesale DPS changes for the Arctic Foxes here. Look at that. We have the May McCree coming in. The Mick Blizzard. Going to be coming in to give as much change here as possible. A2 throwing out the Pulse Bomb. Ends up getting the Immortality, able to save it, though. Oh, there's the pick. Look at that.
Initial pick onto A2 is just what they need to close the gap. The Maywall not able to find it. Fast shatter coming in from AC, and the cleanup is just as fast and fierce. We'll go ahead and hear team kill ring out loud and proud as a minute 45 remains on the clock.
Oh, that's what they really needed there. That just threw Arctic Foxes completely back down onto the ground. And we're going to see A2 trying to get a lot of damage in up top. Not tons available for them into this fight. The Immortality for VGM has got to be huge to deal with this Graviton Surge coming out from the Arctic Foxes. But with this positioning they take, if they get a good window, they still should be able to deal with this.
There we go. Graviton Surge coming in as well as the window. Takes down Immortality, and they are feeding in the damage and support. AC is able to find light before finding the end of their life as well, but with no main tank for the side of the Platlaws, they are going to be able to push back a bit. They're going to go ahead and invest that Amp Matrix from VGM to try to hold the line. Ends up getting a couple picks, actually, which is going to go ahead and stagger out the team as we head into the final minute.
It's looking... Oh, okay.
Oh, no.
They were trying. Oh, that's tough. That's tough. They were trying to get the shatter there. They were trying to catch him off guard, but with only 50 seconds left, I don't know if that was the right move for them, because now Platlaws, double tank ultimates, double DPS ultimates. That's a lot to throw into this last fight. Arctic Fox. Oh, no, they're going to get grabbed early, too.
That's not a good way to start things off.
Oh, no.
Jake and AC are just cleaning it up on this high ground, but nevertheless, that actually could have been invested maybe a little too early.
Ooh.
Alpha Victor, though, also investing the beat is going to be something they want back in this final 15 minutes.
Yeah, they're going to have to really just try to touch here as quick as they can. It's going to be tough, though. Look at this positioning the Platlaws have. The Deadeye from Ender's out to try to zone through. It's really going to be up to Dr. Tepper to touch. I don't even know if they're going to be able to touch. No, they're not even going to be able to.
Yeah, Alpha Victor was trying to get around, but the Deadeye was keeping them at bay. But nevertheless, being able to push almost to Objective Charlie is good on Rialto. Rialto is definitely one of the harder maps to be able to get Objective Charlie in, and they pushed it all the way to the gate of the final area. So I'm not worried in the least for the Arctic Foxes. The question is, can they hold the line as they head to the defense?
Yeah, we were seeing in that Brawl v Brawl kind of mirror towards the end. I'll say mirror lightly. We definitely had some difference in the DPS picks, but Platlaws seem to be a little stronger in that mirror matchup. We're going to see how these teams decide to go at this here. The Arctic Foxes on the defense did fantastic on our last map, on their Blizzard World defense. We're going to see the double bubble coming out from them as well, the composition they seem to really like. And Platlaws seem like they're going to stick with those Brawl tanks. It was working pretty well for them here, but at this first point, with the cart coming across the bridge, there's some good high ground for Off-Brand to take advantage of here. They're going to have to try to push them off as best they can. A2 is going to be on the Tracer, which should give them at least some harassment to go into the back line of the Arctic Foxes. We're going to run again with Icy on that Tracer and Light on that Sombra, seeming to work well for them, but if there's ever a place for them to hold it, it's going to be here. As soon as they start losing some of that high ground, the closer it gets to the end of first point, the easier it's going to be for the Platlaws.
That is absolutely true, and it's going to be interesting to see how they hold this line. Honestly, if they can get ultimates up quickly and hold the bridge right here, this could actually be incredibly fruitful for them. But it looks like Off-Brand already being found out on that left side. Going to go ahead and be forced back by the rest of the team. Light, though, on the objective as Ice ends up finding the end of a good old a stun grenade right there, going to get sent back to spawn. And the cleanup is continuing to be fierce. The rotations that continue to come out from Platlaws are just absolutely insane right now. They want to stop this here and now and allow Arctic Foxes to move no further.
Oh my goodness, look at AC 100% has the shatter. This shows you how the rest is going. They're off tank only at 15. That having a Lucio and letting your Rhine be the damage dealer for a little bit could really help benefit them. Light and falling early there, Icy as well, but winning the Tracer duel, they could be able to contest this here at Bridge.
That is definitely a way to do it, and AC being antied is not a great place for them to be either. They're waiting for that bubble to go down, but the hack comes in from Light to keep them at bay. You gotta watch for that corner, gotta watch for the shatter! Come out! Ends up finding the triple right there, and the cleanup is fast and fierce from AC. They are turning up the heat instead of cooling it down for the Arctic Foxes as they grab objective Alpha.
Oh, I thought Dr. Pepper's secondary bubble there was able to hold it. Oh no, the support's getting caught at the close spot. Being 2 more staggers coming in. So Platlaw should be able to get this over top of the bridge and almost under the second bridge here with pretty much ease. But the ultimates are now available for the Arctic Foxes. Most of their team can still get set up here into positions they would like. But oh wow, what a position so far from the Platlaws. They're already pushing these tanks to the high ground. And no, they're going to lose Dr. Pepper too. Man, that's the fight already lost again, Jack.
Yeah, that's not a good way to start things off, but it looks like the investment on the cart is keeping the cart at bay and trying to mitigate that aggression. I loved Off-Brand, though, jumping into the air to make sure that Dr. Tepper didn't get hit by that pulse bomb, even though they ended up falling in the end. Was a great move by a tank player. Now we're moving into the fight. We see VGM and a massive EMP coming out from Light, just cleaning it right on up with Off-Brand utilizing that primal rage. They're going to be able to hold the line here at the choke of objective Bravo and push the Platlaws back past the bridge.
Yeah, that's what the Arctic...
I don't know if that was on purpose or what. That's unfortunate.
That's a reset. Well, I mean, this seems obvious, but the Arctic Foxes really needed that stop there, which of course they did. Why would they never need that stop? But they really needed to halt the momentum, and now they're going to be able to rotate through the ultimates the way they would want to. They have the grab, they have the pulse, they have this nano boost, they have this rally as well, but ultimates for the Platlaws, almost all 6 available. Arctic Foxes need to be the aggressor here.
That's true. The aggression comes out, but the pulse bomb already finds the supports in the backline, and the graviton allows them to clean it up. Even though AC ended up sending a majority of Arctic Foxes to the ground, the cleanup just was not there. The Arctic Foxes thinking 3 steps ahead and already sending them back to spawn.
Well, Arctic Foxes are going to have to be careful this fight, though. They don't really have any defensive means to deal with this grab high noon combo that's probably going to come out. And look how fast they're already pushing in. Arctic Foxes are probably, this fight starting a little sooner than they would want, but the Platlaws want to take this quick.
All right, well, the anti-nade comes in, and we see Off-Brand trying to clean it up as the Nano is invested on them. Already found VGM and A2, and there it is. Cleanup once again as we see the beat and that grab invested gets no value from the Platlaw.
Yeah, Ender died too early in that fight, and now they didn't get to use the high noon, and now they're just going to give it up in regards to going to the Torb here. Torb Diva coming out from the Platlaws. Okay, the Torb definitely is going to help with these flankers a little bit if they get the turret set up, but not normally the DPS you normally expect for these. But oh my gosh, Jack, they're already going in!
The aggression coming out. The claws are back for the Arctic Foxes as we see Off-Brand taking some tips from Juggle God right there, sending anyone and everyone off of the side. They're looking to hold the bridge now in this open area as the reset comes in for A2.
They don't want to let Ender really get set up, but you're going to have to put their turret here. I mean, that turret can get poked out if there's not a Rhine shield in front of it. They do have the Pulse Bomb. They're going to have that grab up here pretty soon as well, but now we're going to the dive tanks for the Platlaws. We see AC going over to this Winston now, but they got to watch out. Icy is in their backline looking for a good Pulse Bomb here on the corner. Let's see if they can get this stick.
All right, moving on in, and already gets the... Oh, no! The trade comes in from A2. The Immortality saves the day, but A2 is able to get the full value of that Pulse Bomb, getting a triple kill in the back line and stopping the fight before it even starts. 60 seconds on the clock as they push into Objective Bravo with a fervor.
Well, Icy did a great job stalling out the cart there at the end. Arctic Foxes should be able to get a recontest here, especially with Light behind the payload. It's going to be tough for them to jump right in. They have the grab available, and oh, there it is.
There And the hack comes in on to VGM to make sure that they cannot use that immortality field to save the day this time around. The cleanup is being traded both ways, though. 3-3, 4-4 right now. Icy got to get back on that cart and try to hold this line to keep it in their favor, but no! Electric Bravo is captured, and with the rally invested, they're going to have to find their way out of here so that they can safely set up for this next point's defense.
Well, they got to be careful. The Platlaws are aggressing in there, throwing in ultimates. There's 2 of yous now, but Arctic Foxes still press forward. They're getting the picks, and, this is actually working out in their favor. Only 1:30 left here. If they can end up winning this fight, Jack, there's not going to be tons of time left.
That's absolutely true. Self-destruct going in from Sloth does find Alpha Victor after the shield goes down from Ender, and that's going to create the space they need to go ahead and get past this choke point as we see the retreat come in from the Arctic Foxes.
Well, Platlaws have a great ultimate. They're going to have that Molten Core available, but they definitely don't have the advantage over the Arctic Foxes. Oh, they lose light. That's going to hurt. They want to be building up towards that EMP, and now they're going to have to hold off here a little bit and wait on pushing in. But look at the aggressive stance from the Platlaws. They're already up. They're up on the aggressive side. They don't even need to push the cart as far forward as they are.
That's absolutely true. Molten Core comes out all over the objective from Ender, but Ice does find VGM in the back line.
That's huge.
That might be enough for them to turn the tide, but the hacks are coming in, but the picks just aren't. The cart is still pressing forward under a meter, or just a little over a meter away, and A2 popping off, triple kill coming in. We end up seeing the turret from find Off-Brand, and that is it. We are going to see Platlaws move on to the preseason semifinals, taking Rialto and the series 3-1.
A real nail-biter there at the end. The Tor pick really doing well. It was kind of like they were almost using like the rivet gun as kind of like instead of going with the Reaper, they went with the turret instead to help deal with the flankers, but really ended up putting a lot of pressure onto the tank line of the Arctic Foxes. So a good switch there on that side. I don't think they probably expected that one to come through. I know I sure didn't expect that one to come through. But yeah, Platlaws, great job there at the end. That Brawl composition they kind of switching to, really looking strong. AC really being a very good Reinhardt at the end. A2 definitely being the star of the show tonight for the Platlaws.
That's absolutely true. And before we head to start talking about our players of the match, I want to remind you all, please hit that exclamation donate in the chat and donate to the amazing cause that we're raising money for. RAINN, the Rape, Abuse, and Incest National Network is one of the organizations that the Activision Blizzard employees are utilizing as our way to support them for all the amazing work they do and the struggle that they're going through right now. So please, anything that you can donate to go ahead and help out that cause is greatly appreciated. So let's go ahead and throw it to a player of the match booth. There are a lot of good names out there today. Who did you have your eye on?
It's A2. A2 was so dominant on the first 2 maps. Their Tracer at the end really was kind of the linchpin that stopped Arctic Foxes from pushing further on the very end of Rialto there. Their early picks they had on point C on top of the bridge was really game-changing. And then, of course, their switches at the end cleaned up in that very last fight. Dominant on all the maps the Platlaws won. We didn't see them as much on the Blizzard World map, or at least weren't in the kill feed as much. And on the other side, that's when Arctic Foxes ended up getting the victory on that map instead.
That's true. I think I'm going to do something a little bit unconventional, though, and I'm going to give some love to Neptune on the Arctic Foxes, because let me tell you, it is so rare to see such a skilled Ana to be able to pull up so many anti-nades like that, especially when you got shields in the way. Even when we saw Platlaws playing the double shield, those anti-nades continued to come in perfectly, whether it was Graviton or not, able to get 3, 4, 5 picks so that Off-Brand and the rest of the team could clean it on up. That's the kind of skill that you want to see from your support players, folks, being able to see that kind of engagement and aggression to be able to support the team. So I'm going to be giving mine to Neptune. Let's go ahead and take a quick look in the chat. It doesn't seem that they have caught up with us just yet, but we do want to remind you folks that we do have another match going on tomorrow night. Is going to be our first Harmony match of the preseason. We're not exactly for certain which one it is just yet, because we were waiting to see kind of who played on our usual Wednesday nights where we usually have matches. So we'll be getting that notification out in the Discord sometime within the next 24 hours, at least I hope. Needless to say. But
so it'll definitely be on them. We already pretty sure we already know who it's going to be. We're probably going to be trying to feature a Harmony tier match. We want to get one of each 3 for the week if we can. So
exactly.
Just waiting to see a couple more final scores, but I think we know who it's going to be. So that'll be posted tonight.
All right. Going to be interesting to see who ends up coming out for that. And of course, if you haven't already, hit the heart. Punch the bell, folks, so you get notified every time that we're online. This is just the beginning of the season. If you don't know about all the changes we've made, we've actually added 3 additional weeks to the tournament. So that is upwards of 20 weeks of Overwatch Tranquility action that you are going to be able to tune in for, but you got to be here. You got to hit that heart, punch that bell, subscribe if you want to, but I'd rather you hit that exclamation donate, put that money to good use right there, at least for this month. We definitely appreciate that. And just so that you all know, for all the donations that you send in through your subs and through your through gifted subs and bits and whatnot, all that money goes back to you. I've already seen a couple people utilizing it tonight. You get those Trank bucks online, get up to that 1,000-point mark, and you're able to reinvest those for giveaways, so that when we start up our content creation team weeks at the beginning of the regular season during the Iris podcast, we give away t-shirts. Last season we were able to give away several Amazon gift cards, and we're able to do all of that because of y'all. So thank you so much for continuing to support us as we continue to support all these amazing players in our community.
That's right. Remember, we're not making any money off of this.
No.
Everything that's invested comes right back in. The more subscriptions we're getting, the more we don't have a donation thing. We don't have that on our page. So the best way to support us is by tuning into the broadcasts. If you have any if you're able to subscribe, that's great. If you're Twitch Prime subscription, but all of that comes right back into giveaways again. It's not like those don't go towards our open tournaments. Those are funded on outside sources. So all of the money that is really got here on our Twitch channel stays within our Overwatch Tranquility community regular season. So help out with that. Help support your other community members by tuning into their matches. Again, we're going to go live tomorrow, and then our broadcast schedule is going to be, as Jack said, a bit more intense throughout the season. We're going to have 3 new shows that we've added. He's talked about. Those are going to be scheduled throughout the week. Predicting Tranquility will be Mondays after the Iris podcast. We're going to have the beat drop Thursdays at 10 p.m. if I'm not mistaken, Eastern Standard.
Yeah, right after the Discord tier match on Thursdays.
And tune into these, gets you Trank points, just like tuning into featured matches. That's one of the cool benefits of us being partnered here now, is that we're able to put all this content live on our channel. So hope it's probably going to add about 4 more hours a week, 4 to 5 more hours that you guys can tune in and get your points to help reinvest back into everything. So thank you guys for your support so far. It's been awesome to see the support so far here in the preseason, and I'm here for hoping that it's going to continue into the regular season.
That's absolutely true. One show that we did miss is the Coach's Corner, which is going to be coming out, run by the Juggle God. We have partnered with Pico to be able to essentially kind of break down feature matches week to week and kind of get some looks from more professional, top tier coaches, and kind of see what they would recommend on things like that. So if you're really interested in getting to that next level, which our community's all about that, helping with positive reinforcement and trying to help you get up to that next level of play. Be sure to tune in for all those amazing shows. Looking in the chat now, it seems that we do have a couple of votes in here. We do have A2 OP apparently coming in from B Plaque. in the chat. And it looks like we do see a little bit of love there for from Ice to Ender. Just the constant matchup between those two going back and forth was definitely a lot of fun between those. But it looks like that's about all the votes that we got. And remember, tune in tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, right here at Tranquility or twitch.tv/OW Tranquility. And before we sign off, a special thank you to our amazing new producer, Worst Cast, coming in. And you know what? He's going to be hard on himself, but give him a lot of love, folks. This job is difficult to do. That's why I'm a caster, because I can't produce worth a dang. So being able to see somebody pick that up and being able to do everything that you do, even if there are a few hiccups here and there, you know, that's what makes the learning experience so special. So give some major love to Worst Cast from Boost, Worst, and the Tranquility community. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see y'all tomorrow night.